Welcome to Community Essentials.
Something is happening to me. Something is coming over me. Got me wide awake tonight.
Hello and welcome to another exciting segment, and today an educational segment of Community Essentials. I'm your dynamic host, Sakura, and today we have with us Chairman and Founder of Operation Safe Child, Dr. Wylmarie Sykes. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. I'm glad to be here. And I'm thankful for you and Ms. Yarborough and for all that you do for the community in informing us of what's going on. And it's exciting to be here.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. You're welcome. Very welcome. Very welcome. I want you to tell our viewers and everyone who may not know what Operation Safe Child is and what it represents in our community.
Well, Operation Safe Child is a nonprofit agency. We work with all fourth graders in the Maywood community. We're on our 6th year of working with the fourth graders. We work with about 3,300 students and young people. We have 3 purposes. Number 1 is child safety. Number 2 is crime prevention. And number 3 is character development. And we find that the character and attitudes underline everything else, undergird, they're the substance. So we start with crime prevention. We start in the fall in every Maywood school, 1 day a week, with officers from the Maywood Police Department, and with the cooperation of the principals and teachers and the school board, superintendent. We've just had marvelous cooperation from many different segments of the community, from the mayor on down, and it's fun.
Wow. I really like how you are a part of a lot of people working together for this great cause. Now, tell us about a comprehensive national study regarding victimization of children and youth.
Well, it's a very broad topic, but kids that are victimized tend to be the criminals of the future. Kids that are victimized, it's unfair, it's unhealthy, and the kids have a hard time overcoming it. What we like to do is stress staying out of trouble, staying away from trouble, running away when someone's trying to grab you, doing the right thing, you know. Right now, I'm a little disappointed that more parents are not teaching their children enough about staying away from trouble. The kids don't have to be victimized if they learn how to stay away from trouble, not to go, like Halloween is coming up. Never go inside a stranger's house or in a stranger's car. They're just common sense techniques that our kids have not been taught at home, and they need to be taught.
I think that's a very, very good point. It is very crucial to teach our kids the proper tools for safety and for making sure that they take good care of themselves in any situation that may be a dangerous one for them. Now, tell us about your programs and how they have been developing the youth.
Our programs include the 3 areas that I mentioned. For instance, child safety, we talk about stranger danger. We talk about avoiding illegal drugs, that illegal drugs are essentially poisons, and they are for foolish people. And we get the kids to understand that they're poisons, that operate by poisoning their brain cells.
Right.
And the
Right.
kids don't want to be poisoned, so it makes them stay away from illegal drugs. Stay away from gangs. What to do if a gang member approaches you.
Right.
Tell your parents, call the police. And for instance, our community doesn't know such basic things as if a gang member approaches a child to join a gang, that person can go to jail for 1 year.
Right.
The kids don't know it, the parents don't know it, and there's a lot that we don't know. So in the process of my own victimization, I found out a lot of things, so I decided to teach the kids, and we teach them at the 4th grade level, and according to the research, the best way to prevent negative behaviors on the part of students is to teach them before they get into the behaviors. So 4th grade is a good grade level. And I'm a teacher with many years of college experience, but I started teaching in 4th grade, and I love 4th graders. You know, they're old enough to be very intelligent people, but they're young enough so that you can teach them things. And actually, I love the whole job.
Right.
Yes.
Well, that's wonderful. It's always great to know that someone who is taking such a strong leadership role in helping to develop our youth is passionate about what you're doing, and that you love what you're doing, and that you love kids.
Yeah.
That's always great to know. And speaking of the little angels, you also allow role-playing and skits with the kids in some of your programs. Tell us how important it is to develop the imaginations of the youth that you work with.
Well, I don't know if I really emphasize the imagination, but the role playing lets them get involved in a situation and then decide what they should do. It helps them think through and anticipate coming events. And then it's exciting for the rest of the class too, because the kids like to see other kids in action.
Absolutely.
We also, beside role playing and skits, and we've done videos, as you know.
Right, right.
We also have developed songs around the concepts that we teach.
Right.
For instance, we teach the kids to sing, "I don't wanna no marijuana,"
Right, right.
and other songs about going to college, about staying out of trouble, and each one of our topics has a song to go with it. And we make and create DVDs and give to the kids that they can take home and practice the concepts. And we have dance, and the kids love it.
Now tell me about some of the important components that you teach, such as self-love and community. I know you said the kids are having a great time with the songs, and the programs that you teach are helping them to develop a sense of self and everything, and that they love to dance and getting active and learning. Everything that you're implementing is very effective with the kids. So tell us about how you also teach them self-love and about community.
Well, one of the first things that I really learned that I didn't know was when a police officer came into the very first group, I think was at Garfield School, and at the end of his presentation about gangs, he told the kids to value yourself.
Right.
And that has stayed in the back of my mind for the last 5 or 6 years, in that the kids don't know how valuable they are.
Right.
Their parents don't know how valuable the children are. And since a lot of people seem to relate to money, one of my jobs right now is to remind students and parents that if those students will stay out of trouble and stay in school, if they will go to college, the average earnings for a college graduate is about $2 million.
Wow. Yeah.
More
Wow.
than the average earnings of a high school graduate. And when the kids start seeing the figures for every level of education, we use the information from the U.S. Census Bureau, and when the kids see this stuff graphically, then they relate to it and they start wanting, changing their ambitions and looking further down the road.
That's a very important fact to bring up, that what you teach from the beginning with your children as parents carries over economically and in society and has such a great impact.
Yes.
That's an excellent way to look at it, as far as like what you teach and how far to go, thinking, you know, in the future, you know, and the effects of not doing so and how it could affect as well. That's what makes Operation Safe Child a very important and necessary operation.
It's not only important for the safety of the children,
Right.
but it's also important for the children's education, but it's important for children's economic development, and it's important for the community's economic development, because the more kids we have going on through high school to college, the more are going to get higher paying jobs and bring more money into the community.
Right.
Now, currently, I'm getting a little perturbed that more is not being done to teach children good character and how that good character habits are going to strengthen them. Like, I first started thinking about this area back in 2003 when the articles came out about so many black men being in prison.
Right.
And I said, that's awful. That's prejudice, that's discrimination and everything else.
Right.
Now I've done an about turn and about face on that, because I finally figured out that if those people had a basic characteristic of honesty,
Right.
they would not be there, in spite of prejudice or whatever adverse things they encounter. But if they were honest, they wouldn't be there. You know, if they had integrity, if they had a whole host of good character values, they would not be in prison. And I'm a little disgruntled too, because I find it hard to employ some people because they have such bad attitudes. And they don't realize that attitudes close the doors of opportunity or open the doors of opportunity.
Right.
So someone needs to tell the kids. Basically, it's the parents' job. But also, since some parents are not doing such a good job in that area, I feel that the schools have to take on that responsibility. And I think they can do it without adding to the curriculum, but by integrating it into the curriculum, teaching character while they're teaching math or English, teaching character while they're teaching social studies, examining heroes like Martin Luther King or Gandhi.
Right.
What is it about their character that allowed them to be leaders and make such great positive changes?
Right. I think it is very important that the parents show that they do want greatness from their kids. Structure and teaching them proper behavior habits is always a great thing. Not only will they appreciate it when they grow up, as far as the kids, the parents will appreciate it, and everyone who the young child comes in and who he encounters and comes in contact with, or who he or she may come in contact with, will also appreciate it, because it represents what they've been taught. And I think that, you know, we have to look at our youth and say, well, we can't completely give them full responsibility for what they do, because they do have to be molded and they do have to be taught. So when I think of the purpose that Operation Safe Child serves, and I say, she chose to call it Operation Safe Child. I like that. operation to me sounds like a team effort. So who would you say you view as, in addition to Operation Safe Child, who would you view as part of the solutions?
We're all part of the solution. Either we're part of the problem or part of the solutions.
Right.
The problem has so many different facets. But also the solution is that every person in the community has a part to play. Now, I work with the police and the teachers, principals, superintendent, the mayor, the trustees, the manager. Everyone in the village has been supportive. Matter of fact, I've encountered very little real opposition. But I have the support of retired teachers who know what classrooms are all about and how to teach kids and get to them. I have a group of community workers who are in the schools every day. The policemen are in the schools every day. Community volunteers are passing out pamphlets and literature and information about child safety, character development, and crime prevention. And we do this about 20 weeks out of the year. So it's quite a bit. But we also have parties.
Okay.
We have parties for the kids. We give them token gifts. We give them candy. End of the semester, we always have a pizza party, pizza and pop, which the kids like pizza and they like candy. And they don't you know, Mary Poppins says a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down.
Right.
So we give them sugar and the medicine too.
Right. Absolutely. Well, I mean, it's no small feat to get the entire community involved the way that you're doing. That is not an easy task by far. And I think it's very commendable that you reached out and that you have the cooperation and the support of the police department and many others that are in very influential positions to allow you to gain that support that you need to run the big machine that is Operation Safe Child. When I say machine, I mean an operation that is concerned with developing the youth by any means necessary. Well,
I have to give credit where credit is due. This is God's program. God let me go through an abduction experience that got me into all this. And God has just been blessing all the way. Mayor Yarborough asked for suggestions for how to improve the village. I gave him a list of 33 items.
Wow.
And we settled on one that could be done. And I was blessed in that the school board and the school superintendents, all three that I've known for School District 89, have been very, very supportive. And the chairman of the board and the board members have been very supportive. The principals have each been supportive, and director of curriculum has helped. The District 89 has put our materials on their website for parents, quite a few of our materials. And as I said, it's been a really fun and interesting experience for me. Like, I love it. So all of my waking thoughts, almost, not all of them, but almost all of them are about Operation Safe Child. And it's so good for the kids because you can see them learning and thinking. And you would be surprised at how intelligent they are. So I'm happy and blessed to be able to do this work.
Absolutely. I think it's wonderful that you're putting the time and energy in and day out to help and develop the young children. Now, you said a lot of very important things that you'd be surprised how intelligent that they are. I really, really agree with that because a lot of times A kid just really needs someone to pay attention to them and challenge them to do more, to be more. You know, once they know that someone's paying attention and someone expects better of them, they'll show up and they'll begin putting forth that much more of an effort. So it's very important for parents and leaders like yourself to do their part, and what you're doing is exceptional, because it's letting those kids know that all of that energy that you have, that you can't be still, and you know, you have all these things that you want to do, you want to bounce around, and all of that potential that's unused or untapped into, there's a place for it, and there's someone here to guide you and to help you put that into position and let you reach your full potential.
Right.
Tell us what's currently in works for Operation Safe Child.
I've been doing a lot of writing, and I probably have a couple of books that I would, well, at least 3 that I would like to publish. For the kids, you know, really what I'm concerned about now is the kids learning how valuable they are, and the parents understanding that if they raise their child well and their child can go on to college, that's an extra $2 million in their family. And let's suppose you have 3 or 4 kids.
Right.
How much is that?
Just like that.
6 or $8 million.
It all adds up.
Or more,
Right.
because they get the good jobs.
Right.
And over their working lifetime, they acquire all of that extra money. And with people talking about cutbacks, hopefully they don't cut back Social Security and Medicare and pensions. We may need our kids to earn some money.
Right. Yeah.
But the kids, and money-wise, they're so valuable. But their real value is in their intellect, their honesty, their ability to contribute to the community.
Right.
And we will pass off the scene. What will it be like with the next generation?
Right.
And another thing, very simple. Parents should keep their kids too busy with good things for them to get into trouble.
Right.
And they shouldn't allow their boys to run through the alleys unsupervised.
Oh, yeah.
They need to be watching their kids, checking their rooms, just insisting on good behavior and checking to make sure that that happens.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, as a result of the tools that you've been teaching young kids in Operation Safe Child, there have been reports of children's lives who have been saved as a result of the tools that you've taught them. How does that make you feel?
Grateful. Grateful that the kids listened and learned. And also I became aware of how sometimes I don't listen, because the kids told me about this guy in a white truck trying to get kids to come into the truck. And I thought they were fooling. But it turned out to be true. But then again, we had a little girl in the first year. This child was the most beautiful little girl you've ever seen. But she was at Walgreens with her mother and wandered away from her mother, and someone tried to abduct her and pull her out of the store. And she knew from her demonstrations, and this was a demonstration by Commander Willis of the Maywood Police Department. He told them, when somebody tries to pull you away, bite them, scratch them, kick them, yell, scream, whatever you have to do to get away. And that little girl remembered it, and she could say it back word for word later. But she remembered that, and she did that. And she got away from the lady. But see, while the lady was trying to pull her out, the lady said, "My husband will like you." Yeah, so kids encounter some really evil predators, and they have to be forewarned against them. And if they know something of what to do, basically for a fourth grader, their main defense is run away.
Yeah.
But if they know what to do, it can save a life.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's unfortunate that today we have that type of predator that sets out to harm kids. And, you know, you see in malls, some of the kids are on leashes, you know, and, you know, at first sight, you're like, well, is that a little extreme? But when you think it's some of the things that could happen as a result of them losing contact of their mother or their father, you know, and being lost and preyed upon by a predator like that, you say, well, you know, I understand that's a necessary tool, you know. So, you know, I just think it's really important that programs like Operation Safe Child are here to let kids know things that'll save their life. You know, this young lady was in a situation and she had been taught the tools, a reference to use, and it immediately just played in her head. And she used this and she got away, you know. So I think that is extremely commendable. So I just want to thank you for everything that you're doing with the youth and for everything that you're doing with the program Operation Safe Child. And I have to ask one question. What is your vision in the future for the school districts and for Operation Safe Child?
I would like to see the school districts take on the job of teaching good character.
Right.
Good character, good moral character, good productive work habits to the students, while they're also teaching the math and social science and literature. And it can be done, it should be done. The school day should be extended here in Illinois. And part of that extension should include the teaching of character and values.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you for coming to join us here on Community Essentials. It's been very informative, it's been very educational, and it's been a pleasure to have you here, Dr. Sykes, to share with us what you've been doing with Operation Safe Child, a tremendous program, a very necessary, a very useful program, a very important one for our community and for our youth, and even economically. We want to thank you for everything that you're doing, and I hope that you continue to stay blessed and fruitful in everything that you're doing to raise the conscious in society, educationally, morally, economically, for our youth, and overall. Thank you for joining us here today.
You're welcome. And don't forget, we need a cultural and moral revolution
Absolutely.
to make things better.
You heard it. We need a cultural and a moral revolution to make things better. And that, as our president would let us know, takes everyone. And we want to thank you and our guests, Dr. Wylmarie Sykes of Operation Safe Child, for joining us. And continue to watch, as we're glad that we can always bring the essential community news to you.
With just my